I'm Imran Vanka. I'm a South African chartered accountant and I'm a registered auditor. I'm the Director of Standards at the IRBA in South Africa. I'm also the Chairman of the Audit Committee of the United Nations. You know, I've been passionate about ASA all my life. And people often ask me, so why do you insist we should all read ASA? So I have a very interesting story to tell. I've been reading ASA since probably 1992. That makes me a 30-year reader of accountancy essay. And my dear mum used to keep unopened copies of ASA for me when I worked abroad. And when I got back to South Africa, she would give them to me as if they were a gift. You must read this because this is very important. And on my flights back to New York, I would open them up, read them, and I'd leave them in the seat pockets in the aeroplane, hoping that someone else would pick up the accountancy essay and be attracted to a profession in accounting. So accountancy essay is the journal of our profession. And I think that there are three really good reasons why. The first is that the accountancy essay covers the hot topics of the moment, and it tells you who is leading those topics. The second thing is accountancy essay is a window onto who the leaders of the profession are. And the last is that it is probably the easiest way in which you can chalk up your relevant CPD points and experience. If you find what you're looking for, accountancy essay is the answer. I think there are a number of benefits of working internationally. The first is that there is an incredibly high regard for South Africans in general and for South African chartered accountants. You can have a really big impact as a South African CA in an international institution, so you should feel confident about it. The second thing is that working abroad gives you insights into complexity and diversity that makes you a much better manager at home. People abroad have so many more ideas, so many more issues, and that strengthens you as a manager. And then lastly, you could have a level of influence in your current job, but imagine the level of influence you have if you're able to influence the direction of things overseas. So I've had the benefit recently of chairing an international project that developed the new ISQM2 standard. So this is a standard where I chaired the project and which is going to be used by auditors and practitioners, maybe across 100 or more countries across the world. So real opportunity for personal fulfillment and growth in being able to do those kinds of things internationally. Birding's my passion, and people often ask me, where do you start? So I say you can start right here and now. Pull up a piece of paper and start making a list of all the birds you ever remember seeing, and you'd be surprised how many you'll identify. Once you've started your list, invest in a simple pair of binoculars, get yourself a bird book, and then head out into your garden or into the nearest park and start looking for the next bird. Those 4 steps will get you into birding overnight. You know, I emphasize the role that reading has played in my life. And I emphasize the need for all students and chartered accountants to read a lot. But I am asked from time to time if I'm ever going to write a book. So let me let you in on a secret. I have 2 ideas. The first relates to international travel. I would like to write a book, more of a compilation, of all the countries in the world that Nelson Mandela visited and all the speeches he made in capital cities of other countries. It combines both my love and passion for South Africa and Nelson Mandela and my interest in global affairs, and I think it would make for an excellent coffee table book. The second book that I'm keen on writing links my faith to my interest in birding. And so I'm interested in compiling a book of all of the references and insights about birding in the Islamic faith. References from the Quran and the lives of the prophets, linking them to the lives of birds. And so that's a project that I'll do one day after I retire. Many people identify auditors with paper and green pens. But that's an old image of an auditor. The future of auditors are these auditors who are high-tech, have fancy gadgets, understand how these tools work, and are able to use this in new ways. So I think what's going to happen when we try to connect auditing with the digital world is, firstly, auditors are going to bring new skills to the job. They're not just going to bring accounting skills. They're going to have to understand some digital skills. If you bring those skills to the job and you give them a mountain of data, which is what the digital world is creating for them, a great deal of data, combining those two things could give us what? It could give us better audit. But what it may also give us, it may give us quicker audit. It may give us more regular audit, and it may give us deeper insights coming out of the audit. And that's the potential if you combine those things. Combine great skills with the data that's available. These are the things that can come out of audit in the future. Being a chartered accountant is demanding, and sometimes it may feel like you have a never-ending to-do list. You're facing deadlines and other challenges, but how do you bring balance to your life? So the analogy I share with people is the analogy of a table. And it's absolutely important that your work and your career constitute one big leg of the table. But alongside this, you have to have a leg that represents your family. You have to have a leg to the table that represents your faith. You have to have a leg to the table that represents your interests. If all of those legs are strong, you're going to be much more successful at your career and be a happier, more rounded individual in respect of all of those things.